Here is a recap of the second episode of Marionetta. The first episode was all about introducing us to a new world full of magic and secrets. We got to know the tough as nails Julia and her adorable friend Kamille as they took us to a wild circus. But that wasn't all. The episode ended with a nail-biting cliffhanger when Kamille was caught by a circus member. What will happen next? Julia searches nervously for her friend, clueless about what happened. The worst part, time's ticking and the last bus is about to leave. In the middle of the haste, she meets up with an acrobat that works there. For those who read the last release, you must remember her. Yes, she's the freckled headless acrobat Kamille saw before being captured. So, in a nutshell, she's bad news. As expected, she lies to Julia telling her she saw Kamille getting on the bus on her way home, and our heroine leaves the circus feeling abandoned and disappointed. The next morning, Julia wakes up with a big yawn, rocking a grandma-style nightgown. And man, have you seen all the puppets in her room? I love how the author takes care of little details, like the picture of her and Kamille. Another awesome thing about Marionetta is the attention they pay to color. Each character has their own palette. For example, Julia has a dark and earthy color scheme, while Kamille has warm colors like orange. But I went off on a tangent about this and forgot the story again. My bad. Julia gets dressed and hurries to go downstairs. Before leaving, she grabs Camille's birthday gift. She runs into her dad, who's getting ready for work, and they talk a little. Considering Julia's uptight personality, I wasn't surprised to see her dad's got a military vibe going on. We learn more about the Three Eyes. They're considered a superstitious community that believes in ghosts. I wouldn't be shocked if there's some truth to their beliefs. But for now, they're still mentioned as a possible threat to be avoided. Overall, this is a wholesome father and daughter scene. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, right? The bond between these two is something special. Dad's showing some real empathy here. Even if he's not a fan of the circus, he's still a solid dad and wants her to enjoy herself. Julia finishes her breakfast and leaves for work, all grumpy about the circus and Kamille standing her up. But even though she's trying to seem tough, she's still carrying Camille's birthday present with her. Come on, girl, you're as soft as a marshmallow. She shows what a good friend she is by pretending to be happy even though Kamille let her down the night before. The thing is, Kamille isn't anywhere to be found. Julia is confused and tries to find her childhood friend in their typical spots like the bus stop, the bus, and work. By the way, the place she works at has a striking sign. We're in a seriously militarized society, and it's likely they're at war. Is this going to be important in the future? But moving on with the story, she eventually figures out what we already knew. Something must have happened. As soon as work is finished, Julia goes home, thinking about her friend. But before she can take action, she bumps into Camille's mom. This woman looks a lot like her daughter. After a small talk, we learn she's just as worried as we are and gives us some extra details. Apparently, Kamille was upset because she didn't want to get married when she turned 20. Ugh, let's pause here. Isn't she a little too young to be thinking about suitors? And this seems to be a typical thing around here. Well, we learned another new thing about this world. They're possibly at war and marry young. Not really my thing, if you ask me. While the mom suspects her daughter has a lover, Julia thinks that her friend is running away from this arranged marriage by joining the circus troupe. I mean, I don't know you, but I would do the same. I feel for Kamille. Now I'm like, run Kamille, run. Julia promises to bring her friend back and rides her bike as fast as she can following the circus carriage. This may not be the smartest move, but it's the bravest. I'll give her some brownie points for that. Just a side note, did anyone else get Howl's Moving Castle vibes from this scene? Knowing the author loves Studio Ghibli films, it's possible they took inspiration from it. The freckled acrobat and the strong man catch Julia riding her bike and screaming like a crazy person. I was so happy to finally know their names, Dottie and Bob. And yeah, Dottie and Bob see that Julia's going straight for a cliff. In just this one scene, I'd already get how different they are. Bob's getting flustered, but Dottie stays calm and in control. Just when we thought this couldn't get crazier, Julia falls off her bike and could get crushed. She looks so little compared to the circus carriage, and I just realized she's been carrying Camille's present all along. She's the most loyal friend in the world. Nobody would question that. We had hope until the very end. The story's main characters always survive, right? Well, no. Shit just got real. The author just went there and killed Julia. What a perfect cliffhanger. Do you want to know what happens next? Check out Marionetta on Webtoons, and don't forget to like and subscribe.